Before My Heart Gives Out by Kira 18 on AO3. Chapter 12 The Calm. Walking through the hospital was like walking down memory lane. His walking stick grades a soft thumping sound that echoes in the quiet. He could hear the loud hum of electricity current flowing through the walls, slithering through the cracks of the tiled floors, effectively lighting his world on fire. Bright lights swoon in the very ground of webs of flowing energy, raw and alive, as if connecting him to the very essence of the hospital. It also brought back unwanted memories. Memories of a time that would haunt him until the very end. The day when he lost a part of himself. When he lost everything. Shaking away the resurfacing thoughts, he focused on the people he could feel around him. Over time, with the great practice, he learned to focus his powers, to latch onto something that he was searching for, and try and concentrate all his senses on that one thing. So, following the rhythmic beam of one particular engine user's heart, he pinpointed his location. Now that he had changed into his normal attire, it was safe to scope out the hero's condition. So, here he was, walking through the hospital's sterilized hallways, the omnipotent scent of antiseptics, making his head hurt. He tried to shut it out, though. It was also probably due to the aching in his shoulder. He had hastily patched himself up, wanting to see if his efforts ended up actually doing some good. Ingenium was a good hero, a great one, even. Failing him would be too much. He spots the hero through a slight crack in the door. The man is sitting up on the bed, back braced against the headrest. A woman and a boy sit by his side. Soft murmurs resonate across the room as they talk in hushed voices. Izuku thinks the boy must be his age. The setting is domestic, almost intimate, and Izuku immediately feels like he's intruding on something that he shouldn't be intruding on. It reminds him of a long time ago, a time when he had someone to come home to, someone to call out when he crossed the doorway. Memories of quiet Sunday mornings spent with his mother, watching the morning news, cuddled up under a blanket, and hunched over two cereal bowls. His mother would let him go on and on forever, analyzing and discussing the latest hero fights or debuts. Hospitals really weren't the best place for Izuku to be in these days. Shaking the oppressive feeling of want and longing, he walks away, relief flooding his system as his worries subside, no longer scared for the hero's well-being. He gets the call roughly in the last few matches of the sports festival. It's sudden and vague, but by the end of the call, Ida Tensei is excused from attending the rest of the award ceremony. It's only when the festival comes to a close that he gets to sit down and register what had just occurred. Stain. The hero killer had gone after Ingenium after encountering him in Hosu City. According to Tsukauchi, the man would be either paralyzed or worse, if not for the intervening of one particularly problematic vigilante. Aizawa knows he should feel angry right now. The kid keeps putting himself into danger, keeps getting into trouble. However, a part of him is glad to hear from the vigilante at all. After the USJ incident, he wasn't sure if the kid was even still alive. He remembers the fear and worry that God had him when Shadow wasn't spotted for the first week. By the time the second week had passed, the despair and grief had settled to set in, making it hard to keep his mind off of the problem child. He was glad that both his friend and the kid were okay, although he promised he would berate the kid for his recklessness once he saw him again. However, only after he thanked him for saving his students at the USJ. Despite the disapproval he felt at the kid's actions, he didn't want to think about what would have happened if he hadn't showed up when he had. He later decides to visit his friend at the hospital. They've been friends for a long time. Tensei, Nomura, Yamada, and him. He wouldn't have admitted it in front of them, but Aizawa really did care about them. Aizawa briskly makes his way towards the hospital building, heading straight ahead as he walks in the long strides along the sidewalk. His patrol's late today, so he doesn't have a lot of time. There's a flow of people around him, a steady stream of movement surrounding him. Everyone has a place to go, and they all know where they're heading. It's easy to get lost in the mass. However, there's one who seems to stand out amongst the others. It's not the person's looks that made Aizawa notice him. It's more the empty space that surrounds the boy, as if people around him are subconsciously making way for him. He doesn't realize why until he passes right in front of him. The cane and the glasses give it away. The kid's blind. Now, usually that wouldn't be too strange to see. However, what makes him pause, despite knowing that he should be going on his way if he doesn't want to be late for work, is the boy's shirt. It's a plain dark gray t-shirt that has the word "See You Never" on it. Normally, Aizawa would be slightly amused by the t-shirt. However, the bloodstain that's currently growing on the kid's left shoulder makes it hard for him to focus on anything else. His mind immediately goes into high alert. Red flags instantly present themselves in many different ways. For one, the kid seems to have a slight, almost unnoticeable limp, not to mention the slow darkening bruise on his right side of his face. Despite his usual indifferent demeanor, Aizawa can't, with a clear conscience, overlook these flags. So, he does what any self-respecting hero would do. "Hey, kid, wait," he calls out, walking back up to the kid. To his credit, the boy doesn't show any reaction. He just calmly turns around, finding Aizawa with impressive accuracy despite the cane that's sitting motionless in his hold. He even manages sidestepping a fire hydrant blocking his path. Are you talking to me?" The boy seemed slightly surprised, a hint of worry in his tone. Getting a closer look at the teen, he realizes that the kid seemed familiar to him, as if he'd seen him before, but he can't remember where, though, despite the disgrunting green hair. "Yeah, you're bleeding." Okay, so maybe he should have led up to that more, but it seemed like being blunt right now wasn't a bad call. This gets a reaction out of the teen. It's not what he expected, though. He expected fear, maybe surprise. What he wasn't ready for was a look of annoyance and resignation that washed over the kid's features. He thinks he hears him say something about his favorite shirt, but he can't be sure with all the noise coming from the crowd around them. He waits for an explanation, but the kid just keeps muttering under his breath. "How did you get hurt?" He tries to be casual about it, but fails miserably. He'd never been the comforting, reassuring type. Besides, this kid didn't know him. For all he knew, he was just some weird stranger who'd talk to him on the street. "I, tripped earlier. I can be really clumsy sometimes, you don't have to worry." The excuse would have been believable if he hadn't just seen the kid avoid perfectly understandable hurdles in his way. Another red flag. "You tripped." He deadpanned slowly, knowing he must sound so done with the world right now. Sighing heavily, Aizawa decides on a new course of action. "Look, kid, I'm a hero, so if anyone is hurting you at home, or if your parents are..." He doesn't get to finish his inquiry before he's interrupted, as if a click had been switched. The kid's whole demeanor changes. His shoulders seem to lose some of its previous tension, and his back straightens up, giving him a few additional inches to his height. His voice is cold when he speaks. "I'm fine. Please don't make any assumptions, Mr. Hero. I need to go now." With that, the kid walks away, not even looking back when Aizawa tries to call out for him. Aizawa thinks, as he watches the kid walk away from him, that he just made a mistake, his mind already forming multiple scenarios that could explain the kid's injury. He should have gone after him. Looking at his wristwatch, he decides to head straight for patrol. He'd have to visit Ida some other time. He does, however, take out his phone on the way, alighting to talk to Tsukauchi about his early encounter and find something more about the kid he spoke to. Maybe, that way, he could also find out why the kid seemed so familiar to him. He tries to ignore the paranoid thought screaming at him that he'd messed up, that he let his emotion take over him and that he made Aizawa suspicious. Focusing on the smaller, rational part in his mind that tells him to calm down, Aizawa was probably just a concerned hero, trying to help a blind, injured child. Yeah, that was it. It had to be. That's what he's telling himself as he steps into the warehouse. Not all that surprised to find Shinsou sitting at the windowsill, waiting for him. The purple-haired teen seems to perk up at his entrance, immediately turning to greet him. Izuku vaguely notes the smell of smoke and ash surrounding the boy. He decides to chalk it off to the sports festival, occasional hazards. Hey, Izuku. Shinsou greets him way too cheerfully for his usual bored demeanor. How was your day? He asks, swaying foot to foot. Izuku can already tell that his friend is dying to tell him about the sports festival. Uneventful, just the usual, he decides to say, taking pity on his excited companion. Shinsou seems ready to burst anyways, so he gives him a little nudge towards the anticipated subject. How was the sports festival? Shinsou tries to respond calmly at first. The teen almost succeeds in sounding uninterested. However, the more he talks, the more excited he gets. Soon enough, the words are tumbling from his mouth at the speed that rivals Izuku's own muttering. Shinsou apparently got first in the obstacle course, electing to go through it quirkless. The teen goes into a trouble about the landmines he used in order to give him a boost. I actually got the idea from our training at the beach, he says. He then proceeds to tell Izuku about the hellish second round, which he barely managed to survive thanks to the target they put on his back. 10 million points. Izuku can't imagine the pressure the teen must have felt. He's glad he got through it, though. Eventually, they get to the one-on-one matches, and Shinsou tells him that he got eliminated in his second match. His first was against Kaminari Denki, an electric-type quirk user that gravely underestimated Shinsou's powers. Izuku isn't surprised, though. Not many students had intensive training prior to their acceptance at UA. He's kind of proud of his work. Finally, Shinsou tells him about his loss in the second round. However, despite everything, the team still sounds as cheerful as he did before. He was pitted against Todoroki Shoto, telling Izuku about the boy's insistence on only using his eyes. It just made me feel so angry, you know? I don't know why I did it, but I really wanted him to give it his all. Shinsou speaks, quiet voice, low and determined. He told me something personal about him earlier the day, and I just wanted him to realize how stupid he was being. The boy sighed heavily as he continued. One thing led to another, and I actually managed to convince him, Izuku. He used his fire, and it was amazing. He said earnestly, real happiness shining in the lavender eyes. I'm just proud of myself, you know? I mean, I didn't win, yeah, but I feel like I did some real change back there. Pride swells in him at his friend's growth. The team, sitting in front of him, has come a long way from the closeted-in, spiteful boy he met in what feels like ages ago. I'm glad, is the only thing he says, a soft smile forming on his face, knowing that the boy understood the deeper meaning behind his words, without even having to say them. I'm proud of you. It's a couple of hours later, when they are both distracted by their phones, that Shinsou suddenly speaks up. Yo, you lied to me. You told me that the day was uneventful. The teen accuses, unintelligently. What's this news article about Shadow saving Ingenium from the hero killer, huh? Ah, busted. That's my kind of normal? He spends the rest of the night apologizing while Shinsou fusses over him, demanding every single detail about the fight. Later that night, Eraserhead sluggishly opens the door to his apartment, his other hand holding his phone up to his ear, listening for any new messages he got while he was working. One particular message stands out. It's from the detective. Hey, Eraser, I got your message. I've got the kid's file right here. It didn't take long to find since there aren't many green-haired blind kids registered in Masafu. I think you'd want to come see this. Alright, so I thought Izuku, okay, I wanna talk about this. This is something that flew by my head, and it's until this chapter when it fucking hit me, but, it literally hit me, it was literally written out for us. But, in the USJ when Izuku, screamed, oh, no hospitals, right? I thought he meant in the sense of, oh, okay, if I go to the hospital, my identity will get found out, and don't get me wrong, I think that was partially you know, as well. But he also told Shinsou no hospitals after he was in, like, what's it called? His warehouse. And, I mean, you know, kind of weird, you know, kind of weird. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it isn't until this chapter when I realized, right, he probably hates hospitals because, you know, of the incident. He probably absolutely loathes hospitals, right? And it's just hitting me now that, you know, the other chapter where he almost got ran over. Oh my god, if he would have gotten ran over and died in a car accident after his, I'm tearing up. Oh god. Oh no, you know what? We're going a couple chapters without me crying at the end. Oh no. Kira 18, what are you up to? What are you up to? I'm scared. I don't know about you guys, but I'm scared. I'm scared now. I just realized I haven't cried in a good while because of this fanfic, so I'm scared. There's been too much, I wouldn't say fluff, but it's been too calm. Even the chapter is named Calm. Hold up. I don't like this. I don't like this. What is the next chapter named? Hold up. You're gonna get spoiled. What is the next chapter named? Before. The Calm Before the Storm. Oh god. Oh god. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm actually scared. Hold up, and we're about to reach the midpoint of the fanfic too. Wait, hold up. How many chapters? I can't read that. That's too small. 33 yeah, we're about to reach the midpoint because we're chapter 13. I think we're 5 chapters away from reaching the midpoint, I think. I don't know. Let me do my math right. So, 33 divided by 2, it's not going to divide properly, so it's going to be point something. So it's 16.5. Yeah, I was right. We're like about, no, I wasn't right. It's not 5 chapters. We're 3 chapters away from the middle, and I'm scared. I'm scared. No. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. What? No, I'm scared. No, because like yeah, let me see. The Calm Before, and then the next one's gonna be the Storm. The Storm, right? The Storm? Yeah, the Storm. I knew it. The next chapter after Before is the Storm. So the Calm Before the Storm. I hate you. I hate you, Kira 18. I hate you. I'm scared. I knew. I'm like, hold up. I haven't cried. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I haven't cried. No, I'm gonna cry because I'm scared. Okay, onto my notes. So civilian Izuku and, well, not civilian Shota. I don't know if he was in his uniform or not. Not civilian Shota. Hero Shota. Meet, right? Quote unquote. So, oh my god, which I'm gonna talk about the ending in a bit. So yeah, that happened. That is something that is happening, and it's happening. It's there. It's a thing. And I wonder what that's gonna be like. I love how I love his shirt. Can we talk about Izuku's shirt? The like the fucking you'll never see never see you again. I love that shirt. I love how Izuku probably murmured something like, "Oh, this was my favorite shirt. Now it's ruined." I love that. I love that. Okay, moving on to my second to last note, which is Shinsou talking to Izuku, talking to Izuku's place. What does this note mean? Shinsou talking Izuku. Oh, Shinsou taking Izuku's place, not talking. I can't read. Shinsou taking Izuku's place. So I thought Shinsou was just gonna take the position of Izuku in like class, like he would be sitting behind Katsuki. No, I think he's taking place of Izuku, like he is the placeholder of quote-unquote Izuku. Like, for example, the Todoroki thingy, right? Or first of all, the fucking going through the obstacle course quirkless, which, okay, could be a coincidence. Then the mines thing, okay. And then, you know, getting first place and having to, I'm like, okay, all coincidence. Going against Kaminari in the beginning, which makes sense because normally it was Shinsou and Izuku, and then it was Shinsou and Todoroki. I'm like, hold up, this is kind of following the same lineup of if Izuku was, you know, in Shinsou's place, except instead of Kaminari, it would have been Shinsou, right? And then we get the whole, oh yeah, Todoroki's told me something personal. Okay, so Shinsou is taking the place of Izuku, kind of, quote-unquote taking the place of Izuku, at least in certain aspects of plot and stuff like that, which makes sense, when a void gets taken, something fills that void, you know? It makes complete sense. Now I want to talk about the end. I think Aizawa and Eraser, they're the same people. Aizawa and Tsukauchi are going to find out that Izuku is Shadow pretty soon. And if not, they're gonna find out that this kid is abandoned, doesn't have a home, is completely recordless, and they're gonna try to help him, and in trying to help him, they find out that he's Shadow. And I would love that. I love that. I love that. I want more of that. I need my Dadzawa. Feed me some fluff before you absolutely destroy me. Please and thank you, Kira18. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.